You've seen the aesthetic all over your feed, haven't you? The linen suits, the sun-drenched coastal homes, the quiet luxury.
They are beautiful symbols, I agree, but they aren't the substance. The true signature of the old world isn't something you can see or buy. It's an invisible code, an enigmatic language spoken through subtle behavior and a very specific choice of words. It's a language designed to quietly signal who belongs and who doesn't. I'm Beatrice, and if you, like me, are fascinated by the substance behind the symbols, then stay with me, because today we're decoding their secrets. So let's begin. The first secret isn't hidden in some obscure vocabulary, but in the way they use a word we all know: summer. To the truly initiated, summer isn't just a season they experience, it's a verb, it's an action they take. Now, think about how most of us might phrase it. We say, "We're going on vacation this summer." That frames it as a planned event, a special break from the routine. But when you hear, "We always summer in Tuscany," or a line I once overheard, "Our family has summered in Nantucket since time immemorial," the meaning shifts profoundly. It's no longer an event, it's a state of being, an effortless annual migration that's as expected as the changing of the seasons. It communicates a life where these idyllic retreats aren't a treat, they are a given, a rhythm woven into the fabric of life itself. But turning summer into a verb is just the first layer of the code. The truly initiated reveal themselves not by what they say, but by the one common everyday word they religiously avoid, a word you have probably used in the last week. That word, it's vacation. You see, vacation implies a temporary escape from reality. For them, this is reality, so the word simply doesn't exist in their vocabulary. Picture a low-lit dinner party. Someone leans back, swirling a glass of wine, not to show off, but in quiet contemplation. They won't say, "My trip to Italy was great." Instead, they'll casually mention, "When we were in St. Moritz, the air had a particular crispness." It's never the country, always a specific discerning locale. It's a language that assumes you are also a connoisseur of the world, not just a tourist passing through. Travel isn't a rare indulgence to be announced, it's woven into the very fabric of their year. Okay, so now you know the verbal passwords. Summering, avoiding vacation. You might feel like you've cracked it. Wrong. This is the exact point where most people get caught. Because knowing the words without knowing the movements is like having a key but not knowing which door it opens. It actually exposes you faster. The true masters of this world communicate almost entirely without speaking, and their most powerful technique is how they vanish from a conversation. But before they vanish, they must first establish who belongs. And often, this is done with a single, deceptively simple phrase. This brings us to our third code, the power of the club. Picture two men standing on a quiet street in Mayfair, the afternoon light catching the polished leather of their shoes. One says to the other, "I'll have to mention that to Charles at the club tonight." The other gives a simple knowing nod. The conversation moves on. No clarification is needed. Then a friendly colleague joins them and, trying to be part of the conversation, asks, "Oh, which club is that?" And there it is, the mistake. A polite but suddenly cool smile appears. The air changes, because the entire point of saying the club is that it is never named. It could be a yacht club, a city club, a country club. It doesn't matter. It's a linguistic wink, a password. The assumption is that if you are part of their world, you already know precisely which one they mean. Asking the question is the answer in itself. You don't belong. But these verbal tripwires are just the opening act. The true mastery is revealed not in what is said, but in what is done. It's a silent symphony played out at the highest echelons, a beautifully choreographed ballet of social movement. And one of its most critical steps is the fourth code, the art of the graceful exit. A member of this world never just leaves a conversation. They don't awkwardly mumble, "Well, see you later." They glide out. Imagine a patriarch at a crowded gala. He's finished with a particular chat, but instead of cutting it short, his eyes scan the room. He offers a warm, placid smile and says, "Excuse me, I believe I see my old friend Charles." With a polite nod, he disengages, leaving the other person feeling respected, not abandoned. Sometimes it's a coordinated move. A friend might swoop in with a gentle hand on the elbow, whispering, "Darling, you simply must come and meet the ambassador." It's a rescue, executed with flawless elegance. This art of the graceful exit is a true social skill.
Have you ever witnessed a master at work, or perhaps a hilariously awkward attempt? Share your best story in the comments below. Yet, this graceful exit is a defensive move, a way to protect their time and status. But the ultimate power play isn't defensive, it's offensive. It's how they turn a simple handshake between two other people into a direct asset for themselves. This is the offensive play. This is code number 5, the art of the strategic introduction. In this world, you are not just a guest at the party, you are a quiet architect of it. While others are frantically exchanging business cards in a noisy blur, the true power player operates with the precision of a surgeon. They don't network, they connect. They see the entire room as a chessboard, understanding that connecting a brilliant but unknown artist to a celebrated gallery curator is more than a kind gesture. It's a move that places them at the center of the story. With a simple, disarming phrase like, "Emma, I'd love for you to meet Henry. I have a feeling you two should know each other," they forge a new reality. They become the indispensable link, the one who makes things happen. Their status is elevated not by what they own, but by who they know, and more importantly, who they connect. But making one strategic introduction is clever. The real power brokers don't just connect two people, they curate entire worlds. They build the very rooms where history is made, using a ruthless technique perfected over 100 years ago by New York's most formidable social queen. That queen was Caroline Astor, and her technique was the legendary 400 list, the precise number of people who could comfortably fit into her ballroom, and therefore the definitive registry of New York's acceptable society. This is code number 6, the art of the guest list. This moves beyond introducing two people into the realm of social architecture. Old money gatherings are not simply parties, they are modern-day salons, a choreographed dance of influence and intellect. The host's ultimate skill is to assemble not just powerful people, but interesting people, artists, innovators, writers, and thinkers. The goal is to create a hotbed of exchange, where the conversation itself becomes the main event. This tradition is far from a relic of the past. Think of the hyper-curated guest lists of the Met Gala or the exclusive inner circles at Art Basel. It's about understanding that real influence comes not just from having a seat at the table, but from deciding who else gets to sit there. Controlling the room is an undeniable display of power. But there is another code, a more subtle one, that is almost its polar opposite. It's a code of radical understatement, where a single, humble word is used to describe something unimaginably grand. And that single, humble word is cottage. Now, when you and I hear that word, we picture something charmingly rustic, don't we? A little stone building, maybe a rose garden. But in this lexicon, that couldn't be further from the truth. When someone mentions they're summering at their cottage in Newport, They're not talking about a seaside bungalow. They're referring to a sprawling Gilded Age mansion with lawns that roll down to meet the Atlantic spray. Or perhaps it's the family cottage in Mystique, a breezy, multi-pavilion villa overlooking the Caribbean, complete with a full staff. This isn't about deception. It's a form of self-effacing humor, a quiet nod to tradition that says, our wealth is so established, we have no need to shout about it. It's a deft blending of immense fortune and profound discretion. This deliberate understatement is an art form, a way of speaking volumes while saying very little. But their most powerful conversational tool flips this entirely. It's how they control an entire exchange by barely speaking about themselves at all, turning a simple question into a surgical instrument. This surgical instrument is our 8th code, the art of questioning. While most of us, when faced with a quiet moment in conversation, feel an impulse to share our own story, they do the exact opposite. They become a mirror. They master the art of listening, which paradoxically gives them all the power. This isn't about interrogation, it's about genuine but strategic curiosity. A simple, open-ended question like, how did you find yourself involved in this cause, does 3 things at once. First, it protects their own privacy. Second, it makes the other person feel seen and interesting. And third, it gathers valuable information, allowing them to quietly map the social landscape. They learn who matters, what drives them, and where the currents of influence are flowing. Sometimes, the most powerful move is not asking any questions at all, signaling a polite but firm distance. So far, these codes seem designed for exclusion, for defense. It paints a picture of a cold, guarded world. And that's what most people, and every movie you've seen, gets profoundly wrong. The final, most powerful, and most surprising piece of the old money code has nothing to do with keeping people out. It's about the deeply human reason they are so shockingly open to letting the right people in. And that reason is the 9th and final code, a profound, almost radical belief in what I call the assumption of goodwill. Think about it. Imagine you're a brilliant but unknown artist invited to a fundraiser. You're nervous. You see the family patriarch, a man whose name is on the building, walking towards you. You brace for a polite dismissal, but instead, he smiles, extends a hand and says, "Anna, right? I was so impressed by your gallery show in Chelsea. Tell me, what inspired the blue period?" In that single moment, you're not an outsider anymore. You're an equal. This isn't random kindness. It's the system at work. Because in their world, if you're in the room, you've already been vetted. The quiet network of social secretaries and handlers has done its job. You've been deemed of value. This is the ultimate power move, born not of arrogance, but of supreme confidence. They don't need to be guarded because they trust the circle they've built. They can afford to be genuinely curious, to listen, to connect. This quiet confidence, this willingness to lift others up because you have no fear of being pulled down, that is the true signature of class. This assumption of goodwill is the engine running their entire world. It's not about the words or the houses, it's a mindset. And the good news is, you don't need $1 billion trust fund to adopt it. In fact, in the final part of our journey, I'm going to show you how you can use this exact principle to command respect in your very next meeting. So, how do you command that respect in your next meeting? The truth is, it isn't about memorizing a script. It's about a fundamental shift in your perspective. Every code we've uncovered today, from summaring as a verb to that final crucial assumption of goodwill,
They aren't a list of separate tricks. They are all simply expressions of a single powerful mindset, one built on discretion, social grace, and a deep-seated mutual respect. This is the true substance behind the quiet luxury you see everywhere.
Be sure to click the video on your screen now for our next masterclass.